Equality and Inclusion Officer. The Equality and Inclusion Officer leads community engagement within liberation groups and advocates for marginalised and underrepresented communities at the university. Key responsibilities include engaging with campus liberation groups, advocating for underrepresented groups, and promoting feelings of inclusion on campus. This is Candidate Interview Night. My name is Tolan Enderby and we are joined by Adeline Coupe, who is running for Equality and Inclusion Officer. Adeline, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So, having read through your manifesto, you talk immensely about revitalising and creating more training for the Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Officers. So tell me more about that.
So I was Gender Equalities Officer in my first year, and as much as I enjoyed the role, I felt like I didn't have a lot of room to do things outside of like running awareness events and stuff. And so what I want to do is introduce training to A, empower students, B, so they know what kind of things they can and can't do and what the resources are like, and just kind of give more power to them, especially because like my president, whilst he was amazing, he was more of an events person, and so I felt a bit stuck at times.
Okay.
So it was kind of...
So with training, and especially with Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Officers, having a look on the website, and especially particularly at the Equality Champions Handbook, which is signposted on the university's website, it seems like there is already an immense amount of training on offer, as well as an entire dedicated team. So the University of York say that 95% of staff employed at the university have completed EDI training, and around 90% have completed disability awareness training. Are you suggesting that that training is perhaps insufficient, or that it doesn't go far enough to reach into those student positions in colleges?
I think it's the latter. I think it needs to go more into student positions in colleges, as well as like other student roles where EDI is a part of it. Because personally, I came in on the co-ops, so I wasn't voted in per se, but I didn't receive any training to do with EDI. It was just kind of me trying to figure out the role myself. And so having standardized training that everyone gets, and also having it several times a year, it also, as well as like being good for like training, it also brings together all the students together in one room under like a united cause. So that's also another benefit.
Brilliant. So the role of the Equality and Inclusion Officer is to lead community engagement and advocate sort of intersectionality within university policies. And a large portion of your manifesto centres around issues regarding nightlife in York. You categorically state within it that nightlife in York is not safe. So what is your claims based on, and what do you plan to do to make York safer on a night out?
So there's been a lot of people chatting, a lot of rumours, stuff like that, of like people feeling unsafe at club nights, things like spiking. I know people personally who have been spiked on nights out, and this isn't a York only issue, obviously, but it's something that we need to be doing more to protect students, especially those in like gender minority groups. And sorry, can you repeat the question?
So I wanted to know, you'd speak about in your manifesto that nightlife in York is not safe. That's a thing that you say in your manifesto. So the student union in an official statement have said that neither them, the university, or any student-related venues in York have had an increase in reported spiking or worrying incidents in York. You identify that as an issue that you want to handle. But what I would like to ask is, do you think the issue of student safety, particularly the recent spiking scandal, really falls under the remit of Equality and Inclusion Officer?
I believe it does, especially like as someone who's like born a woman. It's something that I'm always worried about when I go to clubs, especially like even at student club nights. And I think it is, obviously it will be kind of like a group, almost like a group effort, because it does come under other remits as well, and it is a big issue. But it's also like things like making the reporting easier, because like obviously when women report things to the police, sometimes they aren't believed and they have those concerns. So making that reporting process easier so someone is there and like can do something about it is also really important. But yeah.
Brilliant. Just last 30 seconds then. You talk about accessibility. Now, the University of York is one of the leading universities in accessibility. What do you see as one area of main improvement, just in the last 20 seconds?
I think communication, a lot of, like, especially with people like maintenance teams, when things like lifts have gone down, is something that I cited. There is like a page for it, but I think that needs to be made more clear. Sorry.
Coming up next is Teddy Bland with the exit interview in the green room.